Well, Kentucky Farm Bureau members have been busy advocating for agriculture in the Kentucky General Assembly annual session. They're pushing policy priorities to better benefit our producers across the Bluegrass State. Director of the KFB Public Affairs Division, Kyle Kelly, joins us now with the latest. Thanks for joining us. Let's start with how the Farm Bureau members got engaged in advocating for agriculture.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's great to be here with you this morning. And it was a 60-day legislative session. It was a budget year. And every budget year, we bring in members from all 120 county farm bureaus to the state capitol in Frankfort to go talk directly one-on-one with their member of the legislature in the House and the Senate. And we were able to do that this year. We had over 260 Farm Bureau members from across the Commonwealth showed up in Frankfort and advocated on things that were important to not only agriculture, but also rural communities that they live in. So it was a great year to get Farm Bureau members involved.
I love it. At least a couple of the representatives from your state are farmers themselves. And so I love that about Kentucky. Now, agricultural districts were a priority for Kentucky Farm Bureau. How did the General Assembly address that issue?
Yeah, so Agricultural Districts and Conservations Act has been around since the 1980s. But to be involved in one, you had to have at least 250 acres. So there was a bill filed in the House, House Bill 418, that lowered the agricultural district requirement from 250 acres down to 50. So that was filed in the House, passed unanimously. The Senate addressed it. It passed unanimously in the Senate as well. And it was ultimately signed into law by the governor. So the law of the land come July will be if you own a farm with at least 50 contiguous acres and you want to be in an agricultural district to protect that land, preserve it for ag and conservation, you can now do that come July when that law goes into effect. So was really happy to get it passed through both chambers unanimously and ultimately signed into law by the governor.
And I want to give you a standing ovation, but I'm anchored here to this desk. River ports were a hot topic this year. Why are river ports important to Kentucky agriculture? And talk about the progress that was made by the General Assembly on that front.
Yeah, river ports is very important to agriculture and also rural economic development. We have the Ohio River that runs from northeast Kentucky all the way around the state through the northern part into West Kentucky. West Kentucky's real big ag country, kind of your row crops are, and ultimately into the Mississippi River. You hear people talk all the time about the importance of trade for agriculture, and it's because agriculture benefits both ways. We bring fertilizer upriver, and then we ultimately send finished crops and products downriver, usually to the port of New Orleans, that will go into a global market. So in Kentucky, we have 10 public river ports, several private, and we've really been underfunding them compared to our neighboring states along the Ohio and into the Mississippi River. So the General Assembly, through a one-time budget appropriation with some budget revenue surplus, appropriated nearly $20 million to upgrade infrastructure at our river ports that will benefit, again, it'll benefit agriculture both directions, and then it'll benefit the rural economic development in those areas as well.
I love that. Lastly, funding was secured for a livestock innovation center for Kentucky. Talk about that.
Yeah, so the Livestock Innovation Center has been a priority for several of our livestock groups and very important to Kentucky Farm Bureau. We're the largest beef cattle state east of the Mississippi. Poultry is our #1 ag commodity in Kentucky, and we still have quite a bit of pork and hogs as well. So the General Assembly, again, we were fortunate enough to have a budget surplus, so we were able to secure $22 million over the next 2 years in one-time money to build the Kentucky Livestock Innovation Center that will be housed on our University of Kentucky research farm that's about 10 minutes from Frankfort, which is where our lawmakers are. So we can have input with our legislators. We can also have input directly with our land-grant university and ultimately benefit all livestock producers in the Commonwealth. So really excited about that program, and hats off to all of our livestock commodity organizations that really help push that across the finish line as well.
And the legislators as well, who are bold enough to stand up for our farmers.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you for what you're doing. Kyle
Yes,
Kelly
ma'am.
with the Kentucky Farm Bureau. Appreciate you so much.